Hey, hi everybody. This is Joseph again, and I invite everybody to who are really watching this video. I welcome you to my channel. And if this is your first time, my friend, I request you that you may subscribe, and so that you don't miss out on my uploads and my live streams. Today we're going to have a very interesting presentation about fiance visa or K1 visa, whichever you may call it. The fiance K1 non-immigrant visa is for the foreign citizen fiancé of a United States citizen. The K1 visa permits the foreign citizen fiancé to travel to the United States and marry his or her U.S. citizen sponsor within 90 days of arrival. The foreign citizen will then apply for adjustment of status to a permanent resident with the Department of Homeland Security, DHS, U.S. Citizenship and Immigration Services, USCIS. Because a fiancé visa permits the holder to immigrate to the U.S. and marry a U.S. citizen shortly after arrival in the United States, the fiancés must meet some of the requirements of an immigrant visa. Eligible children of K1 visa applicants receive K2 visas. So under U.S. immigration law, a foreign citizen fiancé of a U.S. citizen is the recipient of an approved petition for alien fiancé from I-129F, who has been issued a non-immigrant K visa for travel to the United States in order to marry his or her U.S. citizen fiancés. Both the U.S. citizen and the K1 visa applicant must have been legally free to marry at the time the petition was filed and must have remained so thereafter. The marriage must be legally possible according to laws of the U.S. state in which the marriage will take place. So in general, the foreign citizen fiancé and the U.S. citizen sponsor must have met in person within the past 2 years. USCIS may grant an exemption to this requirement based on extreme hardship for the U.S. citizen sponsor to personally meet the foreign citizen fiancé, or for example, if it is contrary in the U.S. citizen sponsors or foreign citizen fiancés culture for a man and a woman to meet before marriage. So the International Marriage Broker Regulation Act of 2005, IMBRA, detailed information about IMBRA requirement is contained in the form I-129F, Petition for Alien Fiancés Instructions. So these are the steps, undertaken under this K1 or fiancé visa. So the first step is filing the petition. You, as the U.S. citizen sponsor, must file Form I-129F, Petition for Alien Fiancés, with the USCIS office that serves the area where you live. For information on where to file the petition, you have to follow through and check the Form I-129F, Petition for Alien Fiancés. Everything is posted on, and is normally posted online on the website for USCIS.gov. That's the main immigration website for the United States. Note, Form I-129F cannot be filed at a U.S. embassy, consulate, or USCIS office abroad. After USCIS approves the petition, it is sent to the National Visa Center, NVC. The NVC will give you a case number and send you a petition to the U.S. Embassy or consulate where your fiancé lives. So this is the same place where we got the diversity visa program. They are all processed in the same, in the same center, but at a different categories. So the second step is applying for a visa. The NVC will mail you a letter when it says, the NVC will mail you a letter when it sends your fiance's case to the U.S. Embassy or consulate. Once you receive this letter, you have to inform your fiance to take the below listed actions to apply for a K1 visa and prepare for the interview. So the second step is applying for the visa, ready to go for an visa interview. Eligible children of K1 visa applicants may apply for K2 visas. So all the dependents, those who are filing under K1 visa applicant, they are granted K2 visas. Separate applications must be submitted for each K visa applicant, and each K visa applicant must pay the visa application fee. And I think this case applies to all the visa categories. For approval, for application, you have to pay in every step you do. And approved, you have to pay for the issuance fee for these different visa categories. What are the required documentation for K1 visa? You as the foreign citizen fiancé and eligible children applying for K2 visas will be required to bring the following forms and documents to the visa interview. Completed Form DS-160 online non-immigrant visa application. You and any eligible children applying for K2 visas must, number 1, complete Form DS-160, and 2, print the DS-160 confirmation page to bring to your interview. So remember very well, you have to bring for approval. In the embassy, they always need proof, documentary wise. They need a document to confirm and prove that you have been approved for this visa category. A passport valid for travel to the United States and with a validity date at least 6 months beyond your intended period of stay in the U.S. Unless country-specific agreements provide exemptions is required. Number 3, birth certificate, very important. Number 4, divorce or death certificates of any previous spouse for both you and the U.S. citizen sponsor, if this case applies, if it applies to your case. Then you need police certificates from your present country or residence and all countries where you have lived for 6 months or more since age 16. Police certificates are also required for accompanying children age 16 or older. Medical examination. Vaccinations are optional. See below. You have to see below. So vaccinations are optional. So you don't have to, vaccinations, so you don't have to prove. It's just an option to do. But I think it's always a good option to always have things ready in case they need them. So evidence of financial support. This is from I-134. Affidavit of support may be requested. So it is very advisable to have it handy. So in case, is required by the embassy. Then very important, you need 2x2 photographs. See the required photo form explained. So the photograph requirements is always posted. But the basic dimension for this photograph is 2x2. It's 2 inches by 2 is given by inches. Then there is evidence of relationship with your U.S. citizen fiancé. It's very important. This is the most important document in this category because you have to show your relationship with your fiancé who is a U.S. citizen. Then there is payment of fees. So the consular officer may ask for additional information Note very carefully. The consular official may ask for additional information such as photograph and other proof that the relationship with your U.S. citizen fiancé is genuine. Documents in foreign languages other than the language of the country in which the application takes place should be translated. Applicants should take to the visa interview clear, legible photocopies of civil documents in translations such as birth and divorce certificates. Original documents and translation will be returned, so you don't have to fear about losing your documents. So they're just gonna need the photocopies, but you have to present the photocopies and the originals. And once they assess the documents, they check them, they always give back the original documents back to the applicant. There may be additional instructions for collecting documentation needed for your K visa interview. Review U.S. Embassy Consulate specific instructions to learn what additional requirements there are. So whenever you get the letter, and they are very, very, very detailed. The American government or any institution from the West, they are very. They always give you a guide step by step. When they need the documents they need, they always list them down with explanation or description. If there are photographs needed, they will list them down with the dimension. So you can't feel this is something you have to follow up very carefully, or attentively. You have to be very attentive when you are following this process, because they are very detailed and they are very specific on the requirement. So in preparing for the interview, applicants will need to schedule and complete a medical examination before the issuance of immigrant or K visa. Every applicant, regardless of age, must undergo a medical examination which must be performed by an authorized panel physician. You will be provided instructions regarding medical examination from the U.S. Embassy or Consulate where you will apply for your visa, including information on authorized panel physicians. You need to see the medication examination requirements for more information, including a list of panel physicians by country and frequently asked questions. So, they are very specific on the doctors when it comes to the medical information. They will refer you to probably their own medical referrals. They will give you the address, probably the contacts. So you can miss this and you can skip it. So you have to be very careful, follow up with documentation and with all the information given from the forms during this application. K visa applicants are encouraged to get their vaccination required under U.S. immigration law for immigrant visa applicants. Although such vaccinations are not required for K visa issuance, they will be required when adjusting status to that of legal permanent residence following your marriage. Remember, very careful. After a K1 visa is approved, I think it only takes 3 good years after your marriage with the U.S. citizens as to be approved to be a citizen. So you take 3 years to be a naturalized citizen. So you have to follow through with all this process in case you wanna be. But you have to apply. I think you have to apply for citizenship. If you don't need, sometimes you don't have to. If you don't apply, it's not automatic. For citizenship, you have to apply. So when it hits 3 years after marrying the U.S. citizen, you have to apply for citizenship status. Although such vaccinations are not required for K visa issuance, they will be required when you are adjusting status, as we say. And applicants are therefore encouraged to fulfill these vaccination requirements at the time of the medical examinations. So it's very important. It's good to have, I always say it's good to have more documents than to have less. and then you might be having, and once you miss a document, they always give you more time to get the document. They will never take less documents. It's better you provide more documents that they can return them to you, or they will tell you they don't need, other than having less documentation that they need, because they always refer you back to go and get whatever you are missing. They will never approve you without a required documentation. So be very careful on that. During the visa interview, applicants will be required to present evidence to the consular officer that they are not likely to become a public charge in the United States. A public charge is like they're going to not be a bother to the government. They will not become a burden in the United States. So they have to prove that they can foot their own expenses once they come to the United States. You may present evidence that you are able to financially support yourself, or that your U.S. citizen fiance is able to provide support. So this proof of financial support have to come from either of you. Whoever is better financially. I think you can use his or her financial documentation or information. The consular officer may request that a Form I-134 affidavit of support be submitted by the U.S. citizen fiancé. Probably they need more documents, especially when it comes to the support, financial support. Also, affidavit of support have to be submitted by the U.S. citizen fiancé. So they require documents, because this is the main person. The U.S. citizen fiancé side is the main person, and he's the one who's sponsoring in this contract or in this visa category. So they will demand documentation for support that he or she can host his or her fiancé once he arrives in the United States. The U.S. citizen fiancé will need to submit Form I-864 to USCIS with the application for adjustment of status to that of legal permanent resident following the marriage. Very important. So the 125% of the federal poverty guideline minimum number, the 125% of the federal poverty guideline minimum income requirements, the most recent year's tax return and other requirements only apply when Form I-864 is needed. Applicants presenting Form I-134 will need to show that their U.S. sponsor's income is 100% of the federal poverty guideline. Very important. That's very important. So the sponsor, who is the U.S. citizen, the U.S. citizen personality, he have to prove that he gonna foot all the expenses for both of him and his or her fiancé once they are in the United States. So there are fees charged for the following services. Filing an alien fiancé's petition Form I-129, there is a fee for that. Non-immigrant visa application processing fee Form DS-160 required for each K visa applicant. So if they count per head. So if you are 5 of you who are applying to join the U.S. citizen who's fighting for the fiancé visa, K1 visa, so they charge per head. When you have the DS-160 fee is charged per head. So if you have children, you count the number, you multiply with the number plus the major applicant, who is the K1 fiancé, holder, visa, or K1 visa holder. Medical examinations required for each K visa applicant. Costs vary from post to post. Then other costs may include translation and photocopying charges, fees for getting the documents required for the visa application, such as passport, police certificates, birth certificates, etc., and travel expenses to the U.S. Embassy or consulate for an interview. Costs vary from country to country and case to case. And then filing for Form I-485 application to register permanent residence or to adjust status. So the Form I-485 is the form that you have to fill out once you are registering for permanent residence in the United States. So there is fees for visa services. They are broken down. Once you get to the USCIS, .gov website, they break it down for any fee that they charge. They always break it down. It's very, very clear and specific. You should read the rights and protections for friends before your visa interview to learn about your rights in the United States relating to domestic violence, sexual assault, and child abuse, and protection available to you. The consular officers will verbally summarize the pamphlet to you during your interview. Additionally, K-1 visa applicants will be provided with any existing criminal background information on their U.S. citizen fiancés. The USCIS received from other government agencies during processing of the Form I-129F petition. There is no privacy here, so they have to disclose from the information or the criminal background stuff from it. They have to disclose all the information about the visa of the U.S. citizen who is fighting for his or her fiancés, so that before you make the move, what kind of person you're going to get, or you are going to get engaged to. So the Form I-129AF petition is valid for 4 months from the date of approval by USCIS. A consular officer can extend the validity of the petition if it expires before visa processing is completed. Certain conditions and activities may make you, the applicant, ineligible for a visa. Examples of these ineligibilities including drug trafficking, overstaying a previous visa, and submitting fraudulent documents. Be very careful for whatever you submit. It have to be genuine and official documents. You can't have fake documents, or you can't have anything to do with scam or shabby stuff, or in case some people might start buying stuff. You might buy stuff just to cover yourself. You can't do that. Everything has to be genuine and a true. Everything has to be the right thing, genuine, and no faking. If you are ineligible for a visa, you'll be informed by the consular officer and advised whether there is a waiver of the ineligibility and what the waiver process is. Learn more and see the complete list of ineligibilities in the forms or on the website uscis.gov. For Form I-129F petition for alien fiancé, you can visit the USCIS website for the status of petition. How long will it take to get the K visa? So the information is very well given on the website. Please visit again on the uscis.gov. Once your case has been received from NVC, National Visa Center, by the U.S. Embassy or consulate that will process it, the length of time varies from case to case according to its circumstances. Some cases are delayed because applicants do not follow instructions carefully or supply incomplete information. That's why we say it's better to have more documents than less, because your case will lag behind in case you don't provide all the required documents in one meeting whenever they are needed. Otherwise, your case is going to process slower and slower in case you don't provide all the documentation at the same time. It is important to give your correct postal address and telephone numbers. Some visa applications require further administrative processing, which takes additional time after the visa applicant's interview by a consular officer. So if you are issued a K1 visa, the consular officer will give you your passport containing the K1 visa and a sealed packet containing the civil documents you provided, plus other documents prepared by the U.S. Embassy or Consulate. It is important that you do not open the sealed packet. It's highlighted. That sentence, the whole sentence is on bold errors. Do not open the sealed packet. Only the DHS immigration officials should open this packet when you enter the United States. As the K1 visa holder, you must enter the United States either before or at the same time as any qualifying children holding K2 visas. So all the K2 visas holders, they have to go at the same time. So you can go at a different time. With your visa, you can apply for a single admission at a U.S. port of entry within the validity of the visa, which will be a maximum of 6 months from the date of issuance. You must marry your U.S. citizen fiance within 90 days of your entry into the United States. This is another bold sentence. It's underlined again. We can emphasize the importance of that. And this is the fundamental thing for the K1 visa. You must marry your U.S. citizen fiancé within 90 days of your entry into the United States. Your eligible children may apply for K2 visas based on the approval of Form I-129F, petition for alien fiancé that your U.S. citizen fiancés filed on your behalf, but your U.S. citizen fiancés must list the children on the petition. Separate visa applications must be submitted for each K2 visa applicant, and each applicant must pay the K visa application fee. So the K2 visas is per person, and also the charges or the fee for K2 visa is per head. So if you have 5 members, K2 visa holders, so the charge is whatever charge for one person times 5. That's going to be the total charges. So the total charge is per visa. After you are married, your children will need to file separately from you for adjustment of status. So when it comes to adjustment of status, mostly when you are adjusting to the status of a citizen, U.S. citizen, you have to file separately now, even from your children. This application has to be filed separately. And mind you, there is still also a charge for this. Everything you do, every visa category or all these applications, once you submit, they always charge fee for that. So don't forget that. You have to pay for this application. So after you are married, your children, important notice. Under U.S. immigration law, a child must be unmarried. In order to file for adjustment of status for your child following your marriage to your U.S. citizen spouse, the child's stepchild relationship with your spouse must be created before the child reaches the age of 18. So are your children required to travel with you? Your children may travel with you to the United States or travel later for to join. Like you, your child must travel within the validity of their K2 visas. And as we say, there is a grace period, but you can't travel if your visa is expired. So that will not happen. So you have to travel before the latest you can travel is the D date, or when you are required to travel to the United States. But you need to travel ahead of time, just to make sure you are not cut off, because if you mess up with these applications, they will cut you off, and to get this is a very hard time to get another chance for this. Separate petitions are not required if the children accompany or follow or to join you within 1 year from the date of issuance of your K1 visa. If they want to travel later than 1 year from the date your K1 visa was issued, they will not be eligible to receive K2 visas, and separate immigrant visa petitions will be required. If your child has a valid K2 visa and you have already adjusted status to that of a permanent resident, your child may still travel on the K2 visa. So entering the United States through the port of entry. A visa allows our foreign citizens to travel to the U.S. port of entry and request permission to enter the United States. You should be aware that our visa does not guarantee entry into the United States. The Department of Homeland Security, DHS, U.S. Customs and Border Protection, CBP, officials have authorities to permit or deny admission to the U.S. upon arrival at the port of entry. Port of the entry is the first airport you get into the United States. They are normally on the border, the United States. But the first state, the first airport that you land in the U.S., that's the port of entry. U.S. Customs and Border Protection, CBP, officials have the authority to permit or deny admission to the U.S. Upon arrival at the port of entry, be prepared to present to the CBP or the Customs and Border Protection officer your passport with a visa and your unopened sealed packet. This is where they're gonna open this packet, the one you got from the consulate of your country, the embassy. Travelers should review important information about admissions and entry requirement on the CBP website under travel. So there is adjustments of status once you arrive into the United States, working in the United States, that's another step, and traveling outside of the United States once you become a K1 visa. Once you land in the United States. Information for K1, K2 visa holders about adjustments of status, permission to work in the United States, and travel outside of the United States is available on the USCIS website. So how to apply for a Social Security number? Once you get here, to learn about applying for a Social Security number, you have to visit the website for the Social Security Administration. Everything, all the requirements and the documentation needed are listed down on their page. Coming to the United States to live permanently, you will want to learn about your status as a lawful permanent resident. See Welcome to the United States, a guide for new immigrants. Okay. So if you are inquiry concerned, a visa case in the progress at a U.S. Embassy or consulate, you should first contact the U.S. Embassy or consulate handling your case of status information. Select U.S. Embassy or consulate to review your website for contact information. They always have this information in the local, embassies. Before making an inquiry, we request that you carefully review this website. Often the answers to questions are easily found, which enable us to help other applicants and U.S. sponsors in need of assistance. Due to the volume of inquiries we receive, visa services cannot promise an immediate reply to inquiry. But once you go to the website, most of the information is in the website, so you don't have to go to the local embassy for anything. And sometimes they might be so busy for that. You can find contact information for our public inquiry division at uscis.gov. You're gonna get all those visa categories, or analyzed or listed down. So thank you very much for watching. And as usual, please, if you haven't subscribed to my channel, please do so, and I appreciate for that. You are a very, very valuable subscriber to me. And also, as you come and watch my content, I appreciate for that every time you do. Please follow up with me daily. I'll be doing a live stream or an upload of video. So please follow up with my channel and like my channel. Give me a thumbs up. Do make a comment, ask a question down on my page, and I'll answer you momentarily. Thank you so much, and you all have a good night and have a good day too, those who are on daytime. Thank you very much. I'll see you tomorrow. Thank you. Bye-bye.